Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the G.I. Joe Classified series. Franklin, Airborne, Talltree figure. This one, in the packaging, like immediately sort of first impressions, this guy looks really, really good. He looks true to the vintage figure, but modern enough that I think both sort of sides of that, coin are going to be appeased. So I'm really, really excited about this guy. I'm really excited to get this guy out of the box, especially since at the time of me opening this, we have seen the Hasbro unboxing of the Dragonfly, which I personally ordered and I can't wait to get. So I'm just excited to have some of these sort of airborne troopers coming to the line. Airborne sort of, I think, if memory serves, I'm just trying to like work through the rest of the series in my head. I think he's the first kind of, airborne paratrooper type of thing that we've gotten in the line. But it won't be the last. So anyways, here is Airborne. We've got the window boxes again, which I'm kind of indifferent about. They've changed the packaging so many times that at this point, I'm probably going to end up getting rid of the boxes. And so when I was keeping the boxes for consistency, they started changing things on me. And I've lost interest in the packaging for the most part. I open everything. And so keeping the boxes just, it feels like a waste of my time now because they don't all look the same and they don't fit, storage wise, they don't all fit the same anymore. But, the new window box that we've gotten here, and ironically, I think future waves are actually different than this, so I don't know what they're thinking. But anyway, this is more similar to the first few waves that we got. This sort of star logo is cut out for the window box. The color palette on this is much darker, so they've gone with sort of the dark blues and almost the blacks, more than like the bright, vibrant blue that they were doing in the first few waves. We get the art in the corner here, but unlike the first few waves, it doesn't wrap around the side, which is kind of disappointing. That's like the first few waves of the packaging I really, really liked. I don't know, it's a box, who cares? There's the blue sort of computer graphic readout type of thing, a QR code, as well as his specialization designations. On the back, we get the digital render, art, picture, I don't know what to really call it, that we were getting on the front of the box up until recently, and then, some details called out, the helmet as well as the little crest or, patch on his shoulder. We've got a helicopter up here. We've got this sort of Easter Island head shooting lasers at the helicopter. I don't know what that's from or sort of what that is, but I like it. It's cool. A bunch of legalese on the bottom as well as the bottom. And then on this side, we get the full art. And then for anybody keeping track, Airborne is number 115 in the G.I. Joe Classified series. But it's not about the box. It's about the figure. So let's get Airborne out of the box. And here is Airborne out of the package. And he is damn near perfect. I have no complaints about this figure, and quite the opposite. I absolutely love this figure. This is like everything that I want a classified figure to be. The sculpt is fantastic. The paint applications are great. The articulation is there's some things going on here with the articulation that I would have liked to have seen in some other things that Classified has done. And it, I could gush about this guy indefinitely, but I'm this is a win. I mean, for me, this is absolutely a win for the Classified line. Given that there's been a few like near misses. I'm not going to say that they've been bad figures, but there's been a few figures with a few more nitpicks recently. This guy, on the other hand, is, as I said, beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful figure. The sculpting is done incredibly well. I have to draw attention to this head sculpt. This head sculpt is phenomenal. This may be my favorite head sculpt in the Classified line. Which is, you know, at least to me, you know, it's a big ask, because they've had a few really good ones. But this one to me is right up there. If it's not the best, it's very close to the top. The web gear is really cool. So it's the vest, the belt, and then the holster and sort of the leg straps as well. They're all one piece, but they've sort of segmented it so that, you know, it moves pretty well and it doesn't really hinder the articulation too bad. You know, the torso articulation notwithstanding. But I'm never super nitpicky about that. I mean, if the figure overall looks really good, I don't really mind if that happens. My only nitpick about this figure is that I think production-wise, like, just my vest is a little bit funky. There's sort of a weird kink to it. Heat might fix that. If it doesn't, I genuinely don't care, because that's the back. You're never going to see it. Once the backpack's on, once this guy's all geared up, I don't think I'm ever really going to remember that that's there. If I'm being perfectly honest. Lots of cool stuff sculpted into the vest as well. You know, you've got straps, you've got buckles, you've got the knife sheath, you've got a grenade on there, some pouches, and so on. If there's sort of one thing that they could have done a little bit better, you know, it's washes on some of this. Some of it is just bare plastic. You know, all the straps are brown, you know, the pouches, the buckles. There's not a ton of paint going on there. There's no wash, you know, to the arms and to sort of the jumpsuit. Again, it's such a nitpick, because the figure itself is absolutely phenomenal. Articulation-wise, one criticism, the butterfly joint does have that weird thing where when you shift it to the back, there is a bit of a shelf there, of a weird sort of thing going on. But it's not as noticeable as some figures that they've done. There is no cap articulation here, because they've gone with the jumpsuit. It looked like they could have put it in there. There's like a seam right where I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't there. However, they have put articulation in at the boot, so it sort of negates the need for that one there. So you can get a little bit of sort of rotation there to get them in a more natural pose, which, you know, that was going to be a criticism that it didn't have that, but then I found that and I was like, well, you know, I guess that solves that. Which is why, as I said, this is like a 10 out of 10 figure. I have nothing but good things to say about Airborne. And then on top of that, not only is the figure perfect, but the accessories are pretty wonderful too. So let's take a look at the accessories. All right, starting with the backpack. This is, of course, Duke's backpack from the original Duke from the first wave, which is appropriate because Airborne in the vintage line had Duke's backpack. So I'm 100% okay with reuse in that case. He comes with a pistol. I believe that we have seen this with Firefly. He comes with a knife. Again, I think this came with Firefly. I could be wrong. Just a small, simple blade. But that is fine. Recognize this one? Pretty sure that one's Firefly as well. But it suits the character. Like, it fits. As far as what the vintage figure came with, that looks, you know, spot on. We get a helmet, and the detailing on this is phenomenal. I couldn't, off the top of my head, remember if we have seen this helmet before or not, but it looks really, really good. I'm very, very pleased with how this helmet came out. It is, of course, this soft plastic, which is kind of squishy. You know, when it's not on the head, it feels weird, but the fact is, it works, and it's going to fit on the character's head really, really well. So I'm okay with the squishiness. It also comes with night vision goggles that are going to plug onto the helmet. If you want them sort of down, you know, they'll fit on there nicely, nice and snug. They're not coming off. If you want to run them the other way around, they'll fit on there as well, relatively nicely, and just sort of stay out of the way during daytime operations. I don't think I'm going to display the figure with that on there. Definitely he's going to get the helmet, but he's probably not going to get those, because he's going to get one of either the goggles with a metallic lens, or the cover goggles, which are really, really cool. So that's a really cool addition, in my opinion. I really like that they didn't just do the goggles again. They did a covered version of the goggles. These ones, I think, look cooler, but I absolutely love that they included these ones as well. So giving you a couple different options as far as how you want to display the character, you know, how you want to get him set up. I think the reflective metallic sort of ones match the vintage figure a little bit better, but as I said, I really like those ones. My only complaint is, again, I think if we had seen a little bit more paint, you know, some washes and stuff on the helmet and on those covered goggles, I think these covered goggles would appeal to me a little bit more. But as it stands, display-wise, I'm kind of torn. I like the goggles. If they were clear, 100%, it would be clear goggles on. Because they're not clear, I think he's just going to get the helmet. Yeah, I'm leaning towards, you know, the helmet, maybe goggles around the neck. Those will just be an extra. But as I said, great accessories. I think they fit the character really, really well. And I'm very, very excited about this figure. So I'm going to get this guy all posed up and geared up with his accessories and give my final thoughts. Wow. Airborne is just phenomenal. He's a fantastic figure. Poses well, carries the gear really, really well, looks absolutely great, all geared up. You know, all the stuff works. Everything is sort of where it should be, you know, in terms of like how everything fits. Colorway is great. Feels a lot like the vintage without being, you know, a sort of vintage feeling figure. It feels updated. It feels modern. The little details that they have added where they have go a long way. You know, the detail on the helmet, the detail on the web gear is really, really, really good. I ultimately couldn't really decide which, you know, to go with of the goggles, because as much as I thought I was going to love those ones, these look really, really good on the figure. And even the night vision, you know, looks good in the right scenario, in the right sort of setting. You know, if you're setting up your display, I mean, I think this guy could work for Night Force as well, with those night vision goggles. I mean, I know he's not the right color, but I think, you know, you could sneak him in there as well, with those, you know, that gear. Which is all to say that I very strongly recommend this figure if you're buying the Classified line. But I think, you know, even if you're not buying the Classified line and you just want sort of more of the realistic Classified figures, I think this guy's right up there. So go ahead and do yourself a favor and go pick up an Airborne. I don't think you will be disappointed in the slightest. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you don't want to miss future videos, hit that bell icon to get notifications for new videos. Until next time, bye-bye.